Welcome to this Gardener Gone Wild Hazy Day special. Yes, Hazy Day, not Lazy Day, Hazy Day. Although actually it is Lazy Day as well. And we're here at the one of the parts of the stop saying Raumati Beach Marine Gardens. We have a somewhat small railway there, and we have a nio tree that has been partly eroded out of its sand dune, and then over this way we have a pretty good view of Cavity Island, actually an incredibly good view. It's very clear today. Which is quite ironic, considering I'm calling this a Hazy Day special. But it is actually, the air just feels very hazy and hard to breathe. And that's why I'm here. And I probably feel a bit foggy. But yeah, there's a lot of people with their wood fires and all of that on last night. And well, I actually had to walk home last night in the middle of it, and it was very hard to breathe. Actually, did I? No, I can't remember what I did last night. Okay. Anyway, getting on down past the old Raumati Beach swimming pool, and yeah, I'm heading to the beach in pursuit of some slightly clearer air. Clearer air. And yes, that is why I am here, is for clearer air. I think it might be a bit clearer, it's hard to tell. Yeah, I think it is quite a bit clearer. See, we have the famous little bridge over the Wharamuku. And we have the infamously tasty Wharamuku stream. Very tasty. Yes. As you can see, the colour looks very wholesome and delicious. Please do not swim in here. And yes, I have seriously seen children swim in there. Tasty. So if you haven't already guessed, we're on Raumati Beach. And yeah, you get all sorts of interesting stuff washing up here. I mean, in one of my previous videos we had all of that that sort of waterweed from the Wharamuku stream wash up, and there's still actually remnants in some of these little rafty bundles. Rafty bundles. And occasionally you get shells. We've gotten sort of these weird driftwood deposits. It looks like some whiteware over there. So it's a real mixed bag of what you actually get here. So you get things like dead fish and all of that, of course. I mean, tasty waterways. I think the air is actually a bit clearer, I think. Yes. Ah, my seat appears to have disappeared. I built a little seat along here. I think this is all that remains of it. Ah, to be fair though, sort of see this little mound left. Ah, I guess I added a tiny amount to that sand dune. Very good. So as you see, these sand dunes generally are receding, like the hairline of ah yes, anyway. So yeah, so you can hear the tide coming in. Or is it going out? Maybe it's doing both. Oh yeah. So there's some vehicles further down there doing the usual stuff. Yeah, got quite a few seagulls further down. It's probably a bit hard to see. And we've got a pretty good view of the island again. Place that I very much want to go to, but I also very much don't want to pay a very expensive fee to go over on a little boat for a couple of hours and then pop back. So yeah, that's a problem with tourism. Not only do you end up with natural places spoiled by far too many people ironically coming to just appreciate them, but you also get the the problem of local people not being able to go to important local sites because, well, the experience of them going to it has been turned into a commodity. Yeah, so natural important spaces that are so important to us historically, culturally, and so biologically, botanically, both, yeah, zoologically. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, these really amazing places end up becoming out of reach for your average person because of tourism. And sure, you can say, tourism does contribute funding to these places, but it also creates other costs and problems. And really, all of that, and the people who live right across from them can't even really go to them. Well, you can, but I'm not paying $100 or something just to go over for a few hours when I can just go to Zealandia. Yeah, or Otari. Yeah. So here we have some of the seagulls hanging out on the sandbar. We have the murky Wharamuku stream, which I don't really want to cross, but I'm just going to maybe wade across it briefly. Maybe not. Oh, it's a sandbar, I might be able to cross it. Just jump over. I don't know. It's a Wharamuku, I don't want to be touching that stuff. Yeah, I don't really think there's a way across. I'm gonna have to head back to a bridge and all the way around. Let's go play around with that log. So how have we got across? We're across now. And here we are on the other side of the beach. And let's just have a little nosy on at the construction further down, because we can. Oh, hello seagull friend, how are you? Look a bit motley. Hope you're okay. Hey. Oh, I don't know what's happened to you. Hey? It makes you worry about all these poor creatures. I mean, what they have to put up with is absolutely atrocious. Hey! Aww. Let's see how all the ones over here are doing. So make a point of just going up to them casually, not trying to, disturb them too much. Just want to say hello to them, to document them if you will. I don't want to be going around harassing them. Hey. Wait, my camera. Will you zoom in? There we go, zooming in. There we go. Seagulls. Everyone's favourite little entrepreneurial scavengers. As you can see, they're well blessed with very articulate vocal skills. They vocalise in a very mixed and unique form of vocalisation. You can hear their intricate songs right now. Okay, suddenly while I'm trying to patronise them, they decide to go quiet. I think they know what I'm talking about. Okay, thank you for your time, seagulls. Yeah, you're saying, go away, go away. Yes, I understand you. But I shall go away. Hello, my interesting, black, long-billed friends. Well, currently I'm zooming up on one of them. And there's another. And that's the sound of a dog. A canine beastie who, due to unobservant human owners, they let them loose where they can go and harass all of the local sea life. Yep, so anyone with canine beasties out there, you know, you don't really need to let your dog out on the beach, especially on a section with lots of seabirds. So yeah, leave the seabirds alone. So this is their habitat. Unfortunately, we're not even allowed to have that these days. I mean, what, you know, there's not really much dune for them. It's mostly just seawall, some stuff growing over seawall, and then schmancy houses. Yeah. State of the beaches these days. Sure, some people don't even have a sandy beach to go to. Sure, a lot of people don't even have a beach to go to, but you know, a beach, when the water is so bad, it often looks a horrible shade of kind of yellowy brown in summer, when you often find dead fish and all of that around. And when the occasional time you ever see a little blue penguin, well, a dog will generally chase it off. A beach where the local sand-dwelling mollusks, like, you know, pippies, which are a form of bivalve, have to contend with being driven over with vehicles potentially, and yeah, all that kind of stuff I have to live with, really. It's a harsh life on a beach when it's been completely adulterated by humans. So if you decide to be a plant muncher, what you do when you find a mussel on the beach is you see if it's still alive, and if it's still alive, well, you throw it back out. I mean, I'm not sure if it's got a closed shell, it's still alive or not. I think it is. It's closing itself up so it can protect itself from whatever's on land and not dry up. So if it's still alive, out you go. But it must be hard for a mussel, you know, not having a hold fast to stay steady on. I mean, when you've got a sandy beach like this, there aren't really any rocks for seaweed or you know, bivalves or crustaceans to adhere themselves on. It's just sand. There's none of that really. So here we have the the construction site again, and I think I actually went here in my previous video here at Raumati Beach, and that was a fair while ago. But guess what? They're still there, and it doesn't look like they've actually achieved much. It's interesting how slow the pace of construction often is. Even when they have these big machines, lots of manpower, or rather shall we say human power to be more inclusive, and you look at it and you think, what have they actually done? Well, actually they might have completely replaced it with woodwork or something, but even then it's still a long time, I think. And sure, you could say that, I'm not actually working there, so I don't know what it's actually like, but even then, when you're working in a coastal environment like this, you want to get a project actually done so you don't run risks of losing machinery and all of that out into these sandy beaches. And that's the thing, people have lost, vehicles have been dumped out here and had to be extracted at huge expense. Often so that the extraction costs will cost a lot more than a vehicle. They'll still do it though, because the vehicles left out here be a huge hazard. Anyone swimming or people going out and catching and torturing sea life, anyone doing anything like that, yeah. So anyway, where was I? So if a car was left out there, then it would, be a problem for anyone going by, if it's on a boat or swimming, obviously. A piece of rusting metal isn't exactly a happy and healthy thing to be playing around with. So here we have it. So we have the construction. They've obviously moved the temporary blocks off a bit. And wow, we've completely replaced all the wood by the looks of it. Obviously dug out the sand. They're diverting the flow of the stormwater drain, or is that what they like to call it. All that lovely water that rushes in untreated from all the roads and everything. And only thing is even though this wood is pretty decent, quite well treated, it's still it's not going to last long. When you look at all these seawalls, and they're not in very good shape. Looks like they're actually doing more repairs further down. So we're continually doing repairs and all of this just because people build so close to the beach. It just seems ironic. They do that, they build so close to the beach to so-called enjoy it, and then wonder why the beach disappears, the very thing that they built their houses ridiculously close to enjoy. So I wonder if all these works obviously connected with all the work they're doing on the stormwater drains. I mean the big concrete culverts that run under virtually all the streets and everything. And I think that might just be seawall work there actually. Oh yeah, they're putting rock along the we're putting rock along all the seawall here because clearly it's not working anymore. Interesting. Yep, armour rock works reasonably well, the big rock placed along, except for the fact that it does often get dislodged, in storms and all of that. And obviously it's quite hard to move big heavy rocks back into place. So yeah, sure, it has its advantages and its disadvantages. So there's an advantage of obviously there's lots of gaps and spaces in the rock, so it can dissipate the force a bit. But a lot of that force will still dislodge the rocks because they don't actually really interlock with each other. They can be easily dislodged. So yes, it's a far from perfect solution. but it's still better than other things you could be doing. Of course, you know, there are other seawall solutions. Obviously the wood, it rots. It does work for a little bit, but it does get worn away and rotted by the wave action. So of course there's concrete seawalls, expensive, reinforced concrete structures that only have a limited lifespan. Work in some areas, but not worth it for huge stretches. It's just an expensive waste. There are specially built concrete structures that are designed to interlock somewhat. Most famous being concrete tetrapods. You know, and the name coming, of course, from their tetrapedal design. And I think they're developed back in the 50s or 60s. And I don't think the design is under copyright anymore, so anyone, any manufacturing plant can use it now. There are other licensed, you know, concrete designs that interlock. Yeah, they're all reasonably effective. It does vary, and it varies in what places you place them as well. You might think they're suitable for these kind of beaches because we use some really deep water off the coast of Japan, but at the same time, sure, they might be used off these, you know, coasts in Japan and Dubai and all of that, but often the water far off the coast doesn't, of course, have tides. Well, it does have tides, but it doesn't have the sheer force of the waves crashing down on the shore. So something like that. I don't know. I think I read something about seawalls and all that a while ago. So yeah, so I think the coast is pretty similar all the way up. It's just a rock, little stormwater outlets. Yeah, when you put rocks, you sometimes get little rocks embedded in the sand. Don't want to go running around and running on top of one of those, which is a bit of a bummer considering this beach otherwise would be completely rock free. I mean, it's just naturally a sand formation. Also, obviously, these rocks sometimes aren't very stable, and they can also be to some degree a health and safety hazard. Depends on how precariously they're placed, but generally they're so heavy they will hold their shape. At least you think they will. So yeah, so it's a little ramble along the beach. I think my lungs are feeling a little bit clearer. Yeah. So I think that's about it for me, really. Ramble on about seawalls and all of that. But let's face it, the best solution is trying to restore the dune environment. But often you need the space, you need the dunes. When people insist upon having houses so close, it's kind of hard to do so, but it still can be done to some degree. Especially if you get more sand up here and plant it with, you know, New Zealand, we've got a native spinifex that does a really good job with the dune binding, as well as the papingao, the native golden sand sedge. It's also Mariam grass being used to some degree. Only problem is the dunes can be quite steep from the Mariam grass, and you do see it eroding away, but it does hold the dune to some degree. But yeah, you know, the dunes, especially the spinifex, I find does a really good job. The rhizomes spread really deep and far throughout the dune, and actually really hold it in place. Unlike these rocks that will end up being dislodged and will only hold the shore for so long. So for now, it's time to say goodbye to these waves, who I think will like and subscribe this video, but unfortunately they don't actually have a YouTube account. So unfortunately, waves, you can't exactly help out with my channel. Although I do think they're quite cool. Hello waves and goodbye waves. And we have Kapiti Island. Say goodbye to Kapiti Island for today. Oh, it looks like they're repiling there. We've got putting in a brand new post for the little broken post on that retaining wall. So it's a bit of an interesting thing. So anyway, where was I? Thank you for watching, and until next time, well, like and subscribe, and please, you know, keep watching these cool videos. That was me, and goodbye. Some people go to beaches for sand, sea and fun. But when you've got tasty decaying marine organisms on them, what fun. Something is odd in this dune. Looks like there's a treasure trove of shells, right? You think beach, shells, sure someone went collecting and just dropped them off here and forgot about them. Look at the actual species here. Especially the paua and limpets. You need a healthy rocky beach for those, and let's face it, this is a sandy beach. Nearest spot you'll find those is often the off over that way towards those hills there, where you've got the rocky coasts or the rock pools and all those environments for them to grow. Makes no sense that they're hanging out over there. Weird. Something odd is happening. I do not know what. Yes, this was a Gardener Gone Wild video. A Gardener Gone Wild Fuzzy Day special.